into the great unknown. If there's anyone out there, just give me a sign.
All right, I'm Reynolds from Enter Shikari, and may the rock be with you.
Well, we'll start off. Welcome to May the Rock Be With You, Rao. It's a pleasure to talk to you. I love you guys, have for a number of years, so it's lovely to talk to you.
Oh, awesome. Well, thank you so much for having me.
No worries at all. Now, of course, we are here because the world is on its way back to some sort of normal. And with that, you're heading back to see us in November, which is amazing. Now, you've always had amazing runs down in Australia. How ready are you to be back down under?
Oh, so ready. So ready. We've been ready for a long time. I mean, like the last time we visited in December 2019, Good Things Festival, they were some of the best shows we've like ever done. Like not just in Australia, like ever. Like the atmosphere was incredible. The tents were rammed. Like they sort of lived on in a kind of legendary capacity in my mind, like throughout the pandemic. Because yeah, as I say, they were the last shows we did before that all kicked off. So like those were the shows that kind of were just there at the forefront of our memory and keeping us like, you know, going and longing for an end to this all. So yeah, we cannot wait to be back.
Yeah, and I mean, with essentially 2 years of nothing in terms of touring, what can we expect at these shows?
For very unfit, out of breath men trying to play a reasonable account of our music. No, I think we're just going to be so excited. Like the problem is going to be like us going in too hard on the first night and one of us fucking breaking an arm or something. Yeah, they're going to be. I think they're just going to be celebrations. You know, like just being able to come together again and feel that sense of community, that because you don't really get to experience what you experience at a live concert like anywhere else in life, you know, especially not that like that sense of indiscriminate unity. Like, you know, people could say like, well, you get a sense of community at religion, but it's not indiscriminate, obviously. So like we're just happy to provide a space where like people can come together, can like celebrate all the best things about life, you know, human connection, like art, passion, yeah, and just have a great time. So we're excited to be able to provide that.
Excellent. Now, you released your last album in 2020 and like a month into the entire world thing, and you got some great acclaim from that. Now, then everything stopped. As a band, how hard was it to essentially press pause on it?
Oh, it's horrible. It really was horrible. You know, like we'd spent over a year actually on, you know, writing and recording that album. Like, and as with all of our music, like we only release the absolute best stuff that we've just poured our heart and soul into. You know, blood, sweat, and tears go into these records, and then to be able to not even just not be able to play shows and like meet people and like connect with people over the music. I wasn't even able to like celebrate its release with the rest of the band and with our team or anything. I remember having like a Zoom party on the release day, and it was just like, this is such an anticlimax. Like it just felt horrible. But you know, saying that the album still did really well, even though we weren't able to do like any of the promo or like the touring around it. We just it kind of reinstated in us like just how, I don't know, grateful we should be really for like the incredible fan base that we have, and the fact that the album really only went forward on like word of mouth, essentially. You know, like it's so much of our plans around the album release collapsed. So it was really just down to our supporters to kind of big the album up and spread it. So yeah, it made us just feel so grateful for the kind of foundations that we've built and the people that have followed us.
Nice. And what you did do though was you gave us another album last year, but compiled of all your lockdown performances and everything. How did this help you from going stir crazy?
Yeah, you know, there was that point where everyone was talking about how like live streams are like the new way of performing, and that they were there to sort of replace that gaping hole in all of our hearts where live shows were. But like for us, we were never able to actually do, you know, like an actual full set live streamed or anything like that, you know, like a pay-per-view ticketed thing. Like for us, I think it would just, we just feel a bit too sad and a bit too like, well, this isn't real. There's no one there. I can't see the whites of people's eyes. I can't like feel the passion and hear the roar. So like, yeah, all we ever did was basically just like stripped back versions, like acoustic things that I love doing. You know, I love like rejigging and like transforming songs and releasing them in a different capacity, you know, maybe conveying a slightly different emotion, you know, with different guitar parts, different interesting takes on it. So yeah, I love that kind of stuff. And we just thought, well, seeing as we did so much of that over lockdown, we should bring it out properly. And I finally got to record my cover of Heroes as well, which I played for years, but like to be able to record that with a string quartet and everything, and yeah, it was that was really, really beautiful thing to be able to do. I'm very grateful for that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. And on the other side of that, though, did this time allow you to be creative, and can we expect maybe some new music sooner rather than later?
Yes, I mean, now only in the last like 6 months I finally started writing again. Like I basically struggled like over the whole of lockdown to write, which is very strange experience for me because like music has always been like a tap, you know. I'm just there to sort of collect it. I've always been able to write. It's always been an outlet for me. It's always been a sense of catharsis. It's something that perhaps not relied on, but it's just always been there. You know, it's my normality. So at the start of lockdown, after, you know, not being able to play live, not being able to sort of feel that sense of human connection, that sense of purpose, I guess, at the end of the day, I just found myself not being able to write music. So, and that was quite scary. And especially when you're looking around and you're speaking to peers and they're all saying, oh, we're in the studio, we're like using this time so like positively. And I just couldn't. So yeah, I think for me, I just need that sense of connection. You know, that's why I do. I don't really write music for myself. Like I of course get such a thrill out of writing music. So in those sort of selfish terms, that's a really lovely, like wholesome, exciting feeling to have when you're like exploring an idea and something's coming together. That's just, I love that buzz. But like really what I'm doing as someone who like isn't naturally an extrovert, what I'm doing is trying to connect with people like in a way that I find more comfortable than like, you know, just speaking to someone or something. Not that I can't speak to people, but you know what I mean? It's like, it's a way that I try to convey ideas with the world. And so yeah, when that outlet stops, it's like quite hard to deal with. But yeah, it's been an incredible learning experience. And as I say, I feel like we've come through it now. Like since we started playing shows again towards the end of last year, I just immediately ideas started coming and I was like, oh, okay, little glimmers, little sparks of like music started coming. And yeah, now we're full on into it, heads down in the studio at the moment. So yeah. Amazing. Very thankful.
Yeah, well, we're thankful we're all out and free and can, you know, see live music again, which is unbelievable.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now we'll talk about one more time about the last couple of years, because what, if anything, has the whole situation taught you you're now going to maintain throughout your life and career?
Wow. I don't know. That's a good one. Well, yeah, I mean, I guess I've already mentioned the gratitude thing, because I mean, that's been huge. Just knowing that there's people who have your back and who like are so like intensely involved in your creative output, like that, you know, that's just something that became very real. Yeah, and again, I guess what I was just saying as well, like just the kind of need to feel that connection to people like that. I didn't really know that was so intrinsic, you know, that was so built in, so important. that it could do something as big as just stop you having the ability to write music. Yeah, that's been quite just you know, a difficult experience, but like has given me a great deal of insight, I think.
Yeah.
Then other things, you know, like sort of outside of the band, like just the sense of community that came during the pandemic, in like even just like in my street. You know, I live in North London, where like, I don't know, the generalization of London is just, you know, everyone's busy, everyone's rushing, no one's really that nice to each other. And, you know, a lot of the time that is unfortunately true. It's just a horrible capitalist fucking like mess. But like at the start of lockdown, like people were like posting leaflets through their neighbors' doors, you know, especially at the elderly residents, like saying if there's anything, you know, that we can do, whether it's getting your groceries, you know, whatever. And then that like WhatsApp groups started popping up, like street WhatsApp groups, community WhatsApp. And there was just such a sense of like, wow, all these people I've been living like right next to, meters away from, like for the last 10 years that I've been in London. And, you know, most of them hadn't really spoken to that much, really. And then there was just suddenly this sense of like, you know, we're in this together, we're going to help each other through this. And that was actually just really heartwarming. So, you know, so it's a bit of a cliche, isn't it? Like sometimes you need like a sort of a bit of a disaster to sort of remind people that, oh, actually some things are like way more important than like our jobs and careers and whatever else. And just like actually being there for people, being compassionate, being helpful, like these things are just, that's why we're here, you know. That's our purpose, our meaning at the end of the day, to like help each other through this fucking horrible ride that is life.
That's exactly right. Now we're going to have a couple more, just a couple of minutes. Next year is 20 years since the band formed, essentially. So are there any plans for a 20th anniversary or something you've been thinking about?
Not really.
Now?
Yeah, so it's funny, when you said that, I didn't even realize. Yeah, so it's, I don't know, I suppose we should do something for it, really, which is a crazy amount of time, like to still be here, like doing this, and not just still be here, but to feel like, you know, we're still growing, still exploring, still like venturing into new pastures and writing new styles of music and things. It's yeah, it's mad that things are still getting bigger and bigger, really. So yeah, we should do something.
I think you should. Now, lastly, let's look ahead to the future with a prediction. I want you to finish this sentence for me. By the end of 2022, Enter Shikari will...
we will have a finished album. That I need to keep saying that to myself every night, because it's gonna be intense to be able to finish it by the end of this year. But like I think we're going to be able to. We're starting to plan 2023, and it's going to be big. So we need to get this album finished. So that's I'm literally going to repeat that affirmation to myself every night before bed and hope that it comes true. And that's about it, really. You know, like hopefully we will have done all the tours that we've got planned. We've done the Australian tour. We've gone really well, and we'll be raring to go and you know, taking stock and getting ready for 2023.
Raoul, pleasure to talk to you, man. I can't wait to see your shows in November here in Sydney. It's going to be off the hook. Hell yeah. Thank you so much for having me. Thanks, mate. See you again. Cheers. Ta-da. Bye. Into the great unknown. If there's